What is up, guys? It's Jojo, here to bring you another Albion video and tickle your wildest fancies. Now, I think we all know who that is. I think it's hilarious that some of the biggest streamers are giving us all this attention. I mean, I know it's your full-time job, but I do this to have fun, and all of your effort is just giving us more brand awareness, which is amazing. So keep it coming. We love it. Let's get after it. We're switching to the Daybreak. We're putting the prowling to rest. Love that weapon to death. They've nerfed the crap out of it. Say goodbye. We're playing the Daybreaker. This is our new favorite weapon. Huge highlights this past couple weeks. Incredible kills. We got this 7-4 MP bloodletter from a kill against Deo. And by the way, guys, I'll do a video on this massive collection, the stories behind how I got each of the weapons. Most of them were kills. We're giving away this 8-4 attuned carving this week from some noob I killed in the mist, 8-4 gear, Sactin or something. So yeah, not great stats on it, but we're giving it away. This is going to be the giveaway this week. And also, sorry for the pause in videos, guys. Was doing a lot of traveling the past couple weeks. Really appreciate all the outreach. Have had thousands of you reaching out for updates on the next video. Super exciting, super fun. It's been really fun playing with some of you guys in game. So here we go. The Daybreaker. We've been building this 7-4 over the past week. Got some good stats on it. It's been getting us a lot of good loot. We love it. The Daybreak is a super strong weapon and look forward to using it as our main. So here we go. On to the giveaway. So using the comments from the last video, we're giving away again that 8-4 attuned carving with the max health and the defense on it that we took. So really excited for this. Let's see. Our winner here is going to be Michael Udy. Huge congrats. I will coordinate with you over Discord and I'll drop it on my island as a gift. Enough messing around, let's get into our first Daybreak video and get after it. Kicking it off with a 7-4, 8-4 geared MP bloodletter that tries to ambush me up against this chest randomly out of the blue. See it, super exciting because I know I can take the bloodletter in a brawl with the Daybreaker pretty easily. We're using these boots, so I know that this has become a pretty big trend over in the EU, it looks like, but I was using these a while back for builds that essentially don't have the mobility like the Daybreak that we saw with weapons like the prowling, and then also obviously with the bloodletter. So good alternative here. I'm going to skip through the lead into this fight. There's a lot of questioning about whether or not we're going to fight each other. Obviously, because it's Rat City, there's 4 or 5 rats that are circling us, and they see 2 really juicy players. They're going to be looking to rat us, so you got to be careful there. All right, I lead him far enough away from the rats where I don't think it's going to be a problem. We both dismount. He switches his helm to Cultist Cowl to try to counter me a little bit. I still know that I can out-brawl a bloodletter of even a tier higher pretty easily. He misses an E on the opener there, hits me with the Cultist Cowl. I play into it a little bit. We're countering it with our Reflect Jacket, and we go ahead and extinguish his buff with our E, which is a huge tool of the Daybreaker. And then also, we love that W. The Impaler W is just the most versatile W in the game, in my opinion. Obviously, the Death Givers have some pretty helpful and interesting Ws when it comes to being able to fight all sorts of different builds, but the Daybreaker W and Spear Ws in general for the Impaler are my favorite W in the entire game. So this first trade, pretty straightforward. He knows that I'm winning it pretty obviously. I don't give into the bait of it enough, really, and so he starts to run away. I try to catch him using those boots, but there's simply too much mobility on the bloodletter, so he's going to go ahead and reset it. I'm obviously praying that he comes back to me because I really want this kill. Round 2 commences. He misses that E opener again. I am very comfortable with the bloodletter to the point where I know exactly how far that E is going to extend, so keep my distance. I extinguish his Reflect, probably a little preemptively. Again, I'm not giving into the bait of it enough. I'm just so eager to win this fight, even with his updated W, that I really just go all in. I know I can catch him with these boots on his boots. I have a pretty good advantage here. I'm going to try to use the W into the E. I don't pop his cape with the E, unfortunately. Or sorry, I do pop his cape with the E. I'm trying to cancel his cape with the E, and then we both get snagged up by that crystal right there, that resource that actually ends up snagging both of us. So he turns around and gets away once more. I can't catch him with these boots, even with that increased speed and range. That bloodletter mobility is just too much. So we go into a third trade, and I won't waste your time here. One of the boldest decisions of all time. He comes back pre-cape reset and goes in for a third brawl, this time fully equipped with that W, with the Reflect, with the Cultist Cowl. He is trying to brawl his way out of this one, thinks he can beat the Daybreaker. There's just no chance. So this time, he's not getting away with a cape. He's not getting away with those boots. I'm catching him. We're going full all-out brawl. I'm not holding back in the slightest. There's no reason to bait. We have him dead to rights. So we go ahead and finish this fight pretty fast. Hit him with an E there. He hits us with the cowl. We're fighting right through it. I don't care. And boom, that's a $400 million, $500 million profit right there. 130 million almost in gear alone. And then that weapon, I mean, that is a completely maxed out 7.4 MP. We're keeping that one for the books. I'm going to use it. On to the next fight. So here we go, a 6-4 Frost with a Cultist Cowl. Interesting combo there. And we're playing with the Daybreak. And again, super versatile weapon. I can fight Frost. I can fight brawl weapons. I can fight mobility weapons. I love this thing. It is my meta, and it's going to be very popular, just as the prowling became post-streamer exposure. Not going to say that I had a massive effect in that one, but definitely had some effect. So look forward to the Daybreak making its mainstream debut. But here we go, going into the fight. Good advantage. We obviously use our jacket to escape his E, use our E to catch up there. Ideally, we would have hit him with it, but we are enough ahead in this fight where we're comfortable just using it to close the gap, which is also another way that we can use that, finish the fight pretty quick. That W just slaps so hard, especially when he's using a cloth jacket. On to another fight here. This time we're going against a one-handed fire staff. In my opinion, the one-handed fire staff is one of the hardest weapons to fight. Luckily, I have a lot of tools in the Daybreaker shed, but the proverbial shed there. But thinking about just the fact that this thing can brawl, it has insane range, like very extended range on the Q and the E. He's using the face scale robe with the 3 different options there. Obviously, the fire can keep me at bay, being I'm a brawl weapon. I close the gap, hit him while he's using his W, which is great. And then because I'm in close, I'm going to use my Reflect. We're winning the brawl pretty easily because he's using a cloth jacket, so we're going to be destroying his HP. But still, Look at this. He is like at 1/8 of his health, and I was still at 50% HP. With his E, his jacket, and then his Qs, I mean, he got the fight even, which is crazy. We hit a really well-timed E coming out of the jacket there. We missed the W, but we finish it off with a strong Q and great trash rate for once. On to the next fight. We're going 8-3 gear, OC'd, 6-4 maxed out carving. So good fight here. We were being chased by a bunch of rats, found a nice quiet spot for us to fight. He switched to, I forgot the name of it, that one W on the carving. That's better for brawl. I mean, when a carving is switching from the usual meta W to this W, that's when you know that they are out brawled. So everyone calls the Daybreaker the counter to the carving, the reason being that the E cancels out the Q stacks. But also, I personally think that the brawl is much stronger and the damage is much, much higher. So we're brawling away here. We're not letting him create any space, really. Cancel his jacket really well with the E, which you'll see a lot with my gameplay. Always trying to use that E to cancel out on dead capes. Great trash rate. That was awesome. He was 8-4 equivalent, so great fight there. On to another fight. Here we go. 6-4 one-handed mace, 8-3 gear. He opens up with the E. We dodge there. Cultist Cow, we're going to fight sort of through it because I know I can outbrawl him. So we're actually at a huge disadvantage, but just watch this. I am so comfortable with the Daybreak Brawl and fighting other melee weapons and just knowing that we can pull ahead. The sustain of the Pure Mist mixed with the Daybreaker damage output is enough to pull me ahead from being down 50% HP all the way to break even. So with that, I have great cooldowns because we always use the Daybreaker, at least I always use it with the torch, and we are going to let that Cultist Cow run out, hit him with a W while he's running through, use the E to cancel his jacket. So pretty even fight here. I love to use the W when there's space between us, so I always use it like that to essentially make sure that the fight is still close and even. Now that we're getting our CDs back and I have my boots, I'm going to actually close the gap, use my jacket preemptively against his E, brawl it out. We use our helm to cancel his cape this time, use the E to hit high damage, and there we go. Easy 1v1. So we'll take that. On to the next fight. This clip, not much to say. I see a group of people running and I inspect all of them quickly and see a 6-4, 8-3 carving. Very lucky. Usually it happens the other way around, that random juiced up players are finding me when I'm fighting someone else. So for once, incredible to find a juicy player while I'm out looking for random fighters. So here we go. He has the undead cape on, so I'm trying to time it where I can use my E, but instead I use a poison potion to hit him through his cape, trying to get that execute. And then we have the boots, which will easily outpace his normal boots of valor sprint. We go finish it off with a clean W. Love those W executes, and unfortunate trash rate, but nothing much else to say there. All right, into a 1v1 versus an 8-3 spear with the stalker hood. Opens up with that W. We're both playing the Impaler W. Some Q trades. And then we go into some brawling here. The Daybreaker will pretty much always outbrawl the spear. They're going to be using the E, which has a shorter cooldown, to kite more. So I typically like to save my Daybreaker E for end fight. I know that even though I'm down in HP, I can still come back because of the fact that my brawl capabilities are stronger. We both got the reflect cape going as well. And I'm going to go ahead and pop my reflect jacket here. He's going to E away. I'm actually going to use my E to close the gap because I don't want to use or lose too much yield on that reflect jacket. Going to go into the end fight. He uses Stalker Hood, which is giving him that damage boost when I'm below 50% HP. I missed my helmet to cancel out his cape. No big deal. I have more than enough HP where I'm not worried about him finishing the fight anytime soon. And then it's really just a simple patience game. He pops his jacket. He's using the mist jacket actually. Then we finish the fight right there. Pretty easy, amazing trash rate, good fight. Random 7-3 bloodletter following me, but this fight is a 5-4, 8-3 geared prowling. I'll save you some time on the chase down. Alright, he finally turns back to fight. We go into a brawl. He kicks it off by using the Valor jacket. He's using the Carleon cape for that instant Q refresh, which is a good choice for prowlings that like to brawl a lot. He goes in OCs into 8-4 equivalent gear. I use my jacket a little bit early, mainly because I know that he has expended all of his charges, so I'm not worried about an execute, right? He has no charges right now. Only one charge there. I'm winning the brawl. I have all of my cooldowns. I'm using the energy pot because it has that cooldown reset. So I like to use my W and my E for high priority fights like this. Use the E to punish him in the Panther form, and then also save that energy pot to give me that instant cooldown refresh. Unfortunate trash rate there, but good fight. Great showcase against what you can do to damage prowlings in their Panther form. Alright, now we've got a 6-4, 8-3 fight against a Death Givers player, Samurai Dios, one of the strongest Death Givers players in the game. Open up with the Reflect because I let him get his 3 pre-stacks, which DGs love to start with. Good avoiding of his Mercenary jacket there. Solid opening to the fight. Of course, we can out-brawl. I actually go ahead and take away his buffs on the Q stacks because he does have that Stalker helmet, which is pretty dangerous. And if he would have had those 3 stacks right there, I would have lost. Boom, clutch E, hits him, go back and end it with a Q. Very clutch on the timing there. He had just hit his sprint boots to create space to get that E cooldown to finish the fight. Alright, now we got a 6-4, 8-3, 1v1 versus MSTM, one of my close friends and one of the best prowlings in the game. Wanted to practice, really. Obviously, it's a high-stakes fight, just given the value of the items, but wanting to see how my Daybreaker can truly play against an even IP, very, very talented prowling. So I'm also using the build that I would normally use in the open miss, which is the boots with the extended run. I forget what it's called. But effectively going to be trying to use that to close the distance, create a little bit more space, using that W to inflict some good damage from range, but also, using the cooldowns to make sure that I pasted against his prowling W. So he canceled my first sprint with his hood. I use that second sprint to make sure that I can avoid his W, get good yield, avoid his jacket while also brawling well. I used my helmet to mitigate the damage from his pounce, which was great. Try to punish him as much as possible when he's in that prowling form. Back into the brawl, he wastes his jacket. We're using our W to inflict some good damage at range. Try to punish that prowling as much as possible. Avoid the mob there. He lands a good W. It's pretty even in terms of IP. I'm always very, very shocked against the prowling damage when I'm actually fighting against it instead of fighting with it. So here we go. He is in invis form. He's keeping some space knowing that I actually have the advantage here. He has no jacket left. I still have my jacket to avoid his execute. Fight's getting close. His jacket did get the CDs there. We slow him down a little bit to make sure that we can catch him with our boots. He's in invis, creating space. We definitely have the advantage at this point. So I'm just going to wait for my boots. I'm not going to chance it by wasting an E. Need to save that E to either cancel his undead cape or punish him heavily when he's in the Panther form. So create a little distance, use the boots so we don't want him to purge our boots with his helmet. Boom, we end up finding out where he is in invis form, catch him. We're close to popping the cape. He has his jacket again. Trying to execute, we use our jacket to avoid that 3Q. Huge. He now has no charges. We avoid another Q to avoid another charge on his part. He's trying to get it back up to that 4 charges for an execute, so he is definitely chasing us at this point. Gets a pounce to get closer to us. We know that we can win a brawl without that pounce, so there we go. We pop his cape, hit a successful E to cancel that cape, and GG's, fight's done. Decent trash rate. MSTM is a god. That was an awesome fight. On to the next fight. We have an encounter with an 8-3 MP light crossbow in the mist. These are always so hard to fight against, especially in a melee build. The light crossbow just has so much versatility when it comes to the ability to brawl. Obviously a lot of the W combinations. He's using that W that plants that trap where if you run through it, he gets a speed boost. And then obviously running the mage chest, that gives him a temporary shield and obviously gives him that damage output boost. So we are doing a good job of using that E to close the distance, inflict some damage. We want to run away from his helm and that cape. That way we can make sure he doesn't have a defense buff and allow our cooldowns to come back until we finish the fight with a strong W and do an E and Q finish there. Good fight. On to a 6-4 one-handed axe. Interesting combo here. I've never really seen someone use this helmet with this axe. Gives him a huge defense buff when we're in the middle of a brawl, so that'll actually be pretty dangerous. But the good part is he doesn't have anything to purge my boots or any of my buffs, and so we're going to open it up by dodging his E and going into a sprint to close the distance. I don't like fighting against axes that are using that adrenaline boost to get that damage. It's just really hard to brawl against, so we cancel it out. He uses 2 E's, which means there's going to be an extended cooldown on his E, so we take advantage of that, try to brawl as much as possible. He goes ahead and pops his mercenary jacket, gets the heals from the mobs, unfortunately, even though we avoid the damage, but we're continuing to inflict damage in the process. Using our Q's and E's effectively, he's still getting hit by the mob, so we have a good advantage of here. He used his E, missed that, so we're going to use our boots to catch up to him. Using that W effectively, he's trying to create some space with his Q, pops the potion. We're brawling through it. Pretty close in terms of the brawl damage between the Daybreak and the axe, especially with the adrenaline. He can actually outpace me, but we're doing a really good job here of creating efficiencies. I go ahead and use my helmet just to debuff him. I was expecting the cape to pop a little bit earlier, but there we go. Don't let him run away. We're able to brawl to get him down low enough where we can finish it off with the Q. Great fight. Get this annoying mob out of the way. And then we can get some of that loot. Boom, mob dead, and great trash rate. Nice 15 million of loot there, sold it back, and on to the next fight. Last fight of the video, a notorious encounter with the #1 Blood Moon player on the US server, Unlucky Death. Always good fights against this guy. We do a lot of 1v1s. I see him out in the mist quite a bit. It's actually pretty hard to brawl against the Blood Moon staff with other weapons that don't have insanely high damage output. I was going in pretty confident. I hadn't fought a high stakes fight against the Blood Moon with the Daybreaker to this point, but I know how to play the counter to the weapon pretty well, just given I've fought him many times as a prowler. So I know that he's going to be trying to use mobs to sustain and use his Q's and W in the werewolf form to sustain and essentially get a lot of that HP back through those Q's and W's in that werewolf form. So we got to make sure that we can create distance when he's trying to brawl in his shapeshift form, and we use our W again as that tool to try to offset that damage and keep the HP balance relatively even. We did miss a W right there, but we actually have to punish him more in the human form here. Normally, right, with the Prowler, you'd want to punish them in the Panther form as much as possible, but because the defense and attack are so high relative on the Werewolf form, we're actually going to go ahead and just try to brawl into human as much as possible, pop that cape early. We're not worried about canceling the Undead cape. We know that because he's so strong in that form, he's going to stay and fight, and so we actually finish it right there. Alright, love you all. Tune in to next week's video. Peace!